Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And I can tell you 100 amazing things about Judy Satori, if not more, and the representative that she has been for humanity and for our community. The articulation of light codes that she brings out and how she's inspired so many light workers that are articulating in their own beautiful way today. But I want to focus on who she's evolved into and how she's translating that for her own benefit, of course. She has to, because as she articulates, as she finds her vitality, it ignites that sense of purpose and passion that you will feel on today's call. And we're going to talk about real life. We're going to talk about what's going on in our daily experiences and how the influxes that have been coming through are inspiring those adjustments in our mind, our bodies, and our hearts. So it's going to be a beautiful call. Forewarning y'all, this is going to be a deep, full-on call. I want Judy to just keep going and going and going. We may open to Q&A, but we may not. But I know how powerful this is going to be today. So I hope that you sit back, relax, and flow with us in today's conversation. And with that, Judy, welcome to today's call. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, John. And hello, everybody. It's wonderful to be with you all, and particularly to be back on Beyond the Ordinary Show with you, John.
Mm,
And, it's been quite a year, this year of the dragon. It's,
mm.
it's a massive upgrade for all of us. And just before everybody came on the show, John and I were talking about how it's been for us personally, because these energies are very powerful and we're also being recalibrated, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
And I was speaking about my trip to Egypt earlier in the year, and John has a tour to Egypt coming up soon. And, before I went to Egypt, I was really, really be going through a process of physical recalibration. Now I'm over the hump, but it's it's something that we're all experiencing because 2024 is a powerful new beginning of a new 4 year cycle of change, which the cycle of change really began back in 2020. So the first 4 years was 2021, 2020 rather, 21, 22, 23. So now we're in the next evolutionary period, the next 4 year cycle of 2024, which is all about alchemical change on the body and changes going on within the heart and the mind and the consciousness. And as you and I were talking about, John, feelings of overwhelm at times because it's bringing up past life fears. The change is bringing up past life fears that we may have felt at some time in our past. But there's also like an edge of excitement and a feeling of anticipation mixed with that anxiety because we know that something is coming, but we don't quite know what it is. And we can't possibly know what it is because it's way beyond what we've ever experienced in our lives in human form. So we're really just getting ready for this incredible new cycle. And the reason I personally know it's an incredible new cycle is because I've been speaking these languages, call them the languages of light, really, for a long time now, since 2002. But I know from work that I've done recently in July in Sydney that the languages coming through me are changing radically. And I know now that they are becoming more like firing sequences, imprints of divine light that are activating us at the level of the DNA, and of course transferring that uh, more expanded advanced DNA capacity into the cells of the body, into the trillions of cells in the body. So we're going through a time really in the next few months from August until December of going through a rapid process of change. These months are like a harbinger of change, getting us ready energetically for energies that are going to be coming in 2025, which in this 4 year cycle of upgrade, and the sacred four upgrade cycle is just like spring, summer, autumn, winter, really, or water, fire, earth, and air. It's holistic, it's divinely designed, it's part of all creation. But as part of our next 4 year cycle of creation in 2025, it's like a firing cycle. Massive upgrade, I feel, is coming. And so my purpose really in coming to the Omega Institute at the end of August, but also doing this work today and everything that I'm doing this year with everybody, is to get as many people ready to receive this energy as possible, because of course we're conduits between above and below. So the more we can energetically receive the energy through the energy circuits of our body, which are the axiotonal lines and the central vertical power current, the energy feeder lines, the line rather, that's aligned with the spine and through the chakras, the more we can receive this divine energy that's streaming to earth, and receive and bring in the energy that's coming up from beneath our feet from Amenti, the better we feel, the more balanced we feel, and the easier this whole process is for us. So that's where I'm personally at, and I'm really excited, John, to see what's ahead, actually.
What would you say to those of us to really inspire these changes that we're going through? Because I was sharing with you before we came on that it's I'm really excited about what's coming. I can It's like we've already walked, it's like what we were hoping to create is already being created, and we're really walking the path, is what I feel. But we don't know what that looks like because it's so much bigger than I believe what we can anticipate. But what's happening in walking this unknown path as well is that there's dips and excitement. There's an agitation physically as well. There's an excess of being tired and not quite sure. I can't even say not quite sure how to navigate it, but just being in the daily parts, like my body's hurting, I feel sleepy, I don't want to be social, and all those kind of things that can arise as we're getting to know ourselves in a new way and it doesn't feel comfortable.
No. And this is really part of the course. And so what I would say is, don't be too hard on yourself. Just, my friend James Jerome always says, surrender, trust, allow. Surrender, trust, allow, so that then we can receive, because we are going through an immense process of change and it's happening really quickly. And so the energy is imprinting us repetitively. The peaking of the Schumann resonance, the solar flares that are coming to Earth, the energy that we're receiving from beneath the Earth. It's already affecting us. So what we can do is we can first not be hard on ourselves. We can allow ourselves to have more rest. I'm finding that I need more sleep at the moment too. Spend as much time in nature as you can. Do the self-nurturing practices, because this process of ascension is coming ready or not. There's nothing we can really do about it. But what we
Mm.
can do is self-nurture more and not be hard on ourselves. The other thing we can do is adapt our consciousness. What I mean by that is create a spiritual discipline time in the day, which could be in the morning, it could be in the evening before you go to bed, it could be both times of the day. It doesn't have to be a long period of time. Spirits say to me, just meditate on being love for
Mm.
11 minutes a day, or 11 minutes twice a day, because the love frequency will help us adjust. The love frequency at 528 hertz is very powerful when it's rippling through the cells of the body. It doesn't really matter if you've had an argument or whatever it's thrown you off in your day. If you just sit before you go to bed, place your hands on your heart, and even if you don't consciously feel love because you're a bit crabby maybe, just put your hands on your heart and say, I am love. I am love. Everything that is happening in my world is divinely designed. I am the creator of my own reality, but the more we actually be love and bring that love vibration deliberately into the cells of our body, just by saying something as simple as, with the power of God that I am, which connects us to our I am presence and that more expanded God mind that we are all connected to, with the power of God that I am love. And
Mm.
just create and feel that love frequency. And that's probably one of the simplest things that we can do to bring us back into that state of peace. And what I find easy, because I'm busy too, like we all are, is I just put my cell phone timer on for 11 minutes. If I've got a lot to do, particularly during the day, I might just take a love break. And I put my cell phone timer on for 11 minutes, sit in a comfortable chair, defrag my mind of all the list, or the to-do list that I've permanently got there, and just go into the love. With the power of God that I am love. Create the love vibration just by thinking it, feeling it, and rippling it deliberately through the trillions of cells in the body and out through the body's energy field, which is about 3 feet around the body. And then we're just coming back to that center of who we really are as souls. It is a challenging time right now. Many people are being impacted by these energies and not feeling well. I'm really working very hard on putting out more material all the time that's going to help people physically. And what we're going to be talking about later, Light-Life DNA Recoding, is about helping people physically, because we need help to go through these physical changes. We're physical beings. We're going through this ascension process while we're still in our bodies. It's very similar to what a caterpillar goes through in the chrysalis, except the caterpillar's body completely dissolves into mush. Our bodies can't dissolve into mush because we've still got to do our jobs and do our thing in the family and live our human lives. But at times it feels like our consciousness, because we can't think clearly and we can't remember things, is dissolving into mush, and our bodies are really changing. So this is why we really need to be kind to ourselves. And what I have found extremely helpful is bringing more greens into my diet. Maybe talk about that if you want to later, but I make a point of having quite a bit of spirulina, chlorella, barley grass, the blue spirulina, the red, the purple, all the colors of the rainbow, because the colors of the rainbow and the plant-based foods that we eat with the nutrients that they hold is really critical for the changes that we're going through. Helps our body adjust. The green pigment in chlorophyll, it helps transport light to the cells, and it's very important for us as our blood changes from a river of life as it's been in 3D to a river of new life as it is for our 5D bodies, because the blood not only transports nutrients from the food we eat and oxygen to the cells, the blood really is now a light river. It's taking light energy to the cells, and this is why the blood needs all the help it can get. We need to detoxify our blood as much as possible.
Yeah, that's beautiful advice. I know I go into a practice at 12 minutes every evening. You go 11, which is wonderful. And it's so restoring. It brings me back into that settled, happy place, no matter what's happening during the day. And the focus on just the one statement and holding that as the mind may want to interrupt, or we go through to-do lists, is that as an anchor point is really powerful, because we're not swayed by the to-do list or the mind that feels that it has to achieve or forgot something. That's in survival mode. We're really aligning into truth, which is beyond those outer experiences.
Yes. I know when I wrote my book, Sunshine Before the Dawn, part of the book was set on Lyra, 12th dimensional Lyra. And Enya, who was the heroine from Sirius, went to Lyra to work with this Lyran woman about creating the new human being to see the earth. This is 200,000 years ago. And so one of the beings from Lyra actually told Enya to let go of her lists, writing the lists of what we had to do and follow the heart, and to write down on a list, everything that she needed to do the next day, and ask her soul or her higher self to arrange that list in the correct divine order. And so in the morning, instead of thinking, I'm going to start with the first thing on the list, just put your hand on your heart and say, okay, higher self, my I am presence, what is it that I really need to do today? And just let the soul guide more. Because I think we get into our human stuff and we feel we have to do this first thing on our to-do list, but maybe that's not really important. And it's about, I think, going into the heart mind and allowing our heart mind to guide us rather than the head. And doing your practice, like you said, 12 minutes a day, or my practice that brings us back to our heart mind and
Mm,
just saying with the power of God that I am, I connect to my heart mind.
mm. It's
It's
powerful, Judy. That's powerful. It's so beautiful. And again, so anchoring. I have to ask you, I want to get into the light life DNAs and the recordings and what that is, but I'm so curious. I've had experiences of where light language is wanting to come through me, just like these these voice activations and energetic attunements that I know are working on me, and that comes through after my meditation sometimes. I'm curious, first of all, if the transmissions and for you have shifted over the last few months or over the last year, where it feels like you're accessing it maybe from a different dimension or an upgraded version of what you're capable of holding? I'm not sure.
Yes, it's been really interesting for me because, I've been speaking these languages for a long time now, and 23 years, isn't it? 24 years. So over that period of time, I've really noticed the change in the vocabulary. Sometimes the languaging, in the beginning, the languaging was all about uh, re-establishing feeder lines of light in the body and around the body, or clearing karmic trauma from people's energy fields. Then there was a lot of reconstruction work that came through, which was about, altering um, the way organs function and things like that. Um, I found after a while that I could speak and translate galactic languages, any of them really. I mean, obviously, there's been some past life ability to do this from way back, but it's not something I've ever been taught. It's just something that came automatically. But what
Hmm.
I now notice most, and particularly when I was in Sydney in July, and other people mentioned it to me, they said, your language isn't the same. But what I was doing in Sydney was I was preparing, like it was halfway house really, for what I feel is going to be transmitted by divine
Hmm.
in at the Omega Institute at the end of August in my program there. And I was really getting made ready. It was like an incubation course really. But the energy is different. It used to come from source creation energy at the heart of 22 galaxies that I call beyond the beyond. So it's
Hmm.
beyond Earth, it's beyond this galaxy, Milky Way, and it's from the heart center, or the God creation energy center at the heart of 22. But what I noticed, and other people noticed this as well, in Sydney in July, was that the energy is coming from beyond the 22. It's coming from universal God consciousness, from the universe really. It's more
Hmm.
expanded. It's not locked into any previous paradigms. So I guess I'm a little bit, there's some degree of trepidation when you don't know what's coming, of course. But I'm also really excited about what I feel is coming, because in all of these 27 years I've been working with spirit, I've never been let down. They've never thrown me off the cliff, and which is awfully comforting. So I know that when I do this work at the Omega Institute, it's going to be something new because of that total support that I've always felt from the divine hierarchy and from star beings, from multidimensional realities. Really, it's
Hmm.
it's a little bit strange, John, and you probably feel it too. And I'm sure many people listening know what I'm talking about. We're not really who we think we are. We go by names like Judy or John, and we have these personality self lives where people know us for what we do, and we get the groceries and pay the bills and all those sorts of things. But we really have a foot in both worlds. We have a foot in this earth world, this earthly life that we're living in, and we also have a foot, probably more than a foot now, in multidimensional realities and multidimensional worlds. And I feel that we've started, many of us, a new what's called alpha to omega cycle. And alpha is the beginning letter of the Greek alphabet, and omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. This big long alpha to omega cycle is a cycle of soul that we began when we became an individuated soul separate from the Godhead right in the time of the beginning. But what I have been told, and I believe because I see it reflected in myself, is we are beginning a new alpha to omega cycle of soul, which also means that for many of us, we will not need after this lifetime to come back to earth unless we choose to, as a bringer of light, like a bodhisattva type being on the earth to help and be of service to earth, because this new soul cycle is taking us away, probably, from this reality into other dimensional worlds and other dimensional realities, so that our soul might go on and ingather more wisdom. We don't really need to stay in the classroom that we've been in for a long time when we've graduated, you see. So for many people, particularly those who are listening today, I suspect that we'll be graduating and we will have a choice as to whether we come back to earth next lifetime, but it won't be on the karmic wheel so much. That's what I believe anyway.
I would agree with you. I'm feeling that very strongly. And we're navigating these amazing waves together. Again, exciting times, but a lot of calibration, a lot of attuning, a lot of compassion for the wobbles that we're feeling in the field, but also the encouragement for just a lot of knowingness or faith, if we need to call it that, uh, for what's arising.
Yeah, and I think that sense of knowing that we have inside of us is probably critical to this journey. That sense of, I know that even though I don't feel well, and I know that even though I don't know what's coming, on a deeper level, I know that all is well because I'm here for this ride. I put my hand up to come here to earth in this lifetime, and whatever is going on is part of that acceleration, elevation, expansion process that my soul is on right now. I think when we truly accept that and just surrender, it makes it so much easier. I mean, to give you my example, I'm leaving for New York in 2 weeks' time, and on a human level, I don't, I'm given the curriculum of what I'm teaching by spirit, but they don't bring the energy through until the day. So,
Mm.
it's always a bit like pre-performance nerves, but
Yeah.
what we're all being asked to do, my example is just an example of what we're all being asked to do, really. We've all got a role to play. This is just my particular role. All of those who are listening to your show today, John, have a role. We all have a role to play. We've got things that we're meant to be doing in this lifetime. We know this because we feel it deeply within every aspect of who we are. And we're just being prepared and opened up and supported by spirit, by the divine, to step forward and play that role. And
Mm.
to a large extent, that's what a lot of my work has been about, to be as a catalyst to help everybody step forward and play their role. And now my work of course is activating potentials that are within the human DNA code to switch on, fire up, and express, because we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. The changes have to begin within us, within hundreds of thousands of people on this planet, if we're going to change the reality of life on this planet. I look at younger people and I'm really impressed because their values are not the values of maybe my generation,
Mm.
and their desire to be of heart-centered service to the planet in many cases is incredibly astounding. And of course, they're receiving many new technologies now, as the star beings that they are, to help bring forward this energy.
Mm.
My role is just to activate potentials within the human DNA code so that we might step up and step into these new abilities for ourselves. That's what it's all about.
Well, as we talk about activating and the codes, let's get into Light-Life DNA Recoding. What is that?
Well, probably many people will have heard of the Archangel Metatron.
Mm.
And Metatron is the supreme archangel, the bringer of light from God, from the divine source, into the world of form. And so Metatron is the light bringer, really,
Mm.
into actuality. So when I talk about light, life, it's the bringer of light, which is source light, possibly, some of the recordings that I've made are through the auspices of the Archangel Metatron, but it's bringing light into new life in the body. So it's very much about triggering physical changes in the body that will allow us both to receive the light, the energy from Divine Mind that's both streaming to Earth, coming through in the words that I speak, because these are like new energy words of new creation. So they're like a coding, imprinting energy frequency that when we listen to these codings repetitively, they create repetitive, exponential, Fibonacci-like sequential change in the way the body functions and the way the body performs. And their purpose is to activate DNA change, which is the recipe, so that the recipe for how we function as human beings is read differently, able to be read differently by messenger RNA to create new physical outcomes in the body. So what I've offered in this program with you today is 4 episodes or 4 programs that work together. It's called Light-Life DNA Recoding, episodes 1 to 4. So episode 1 is called Etheric Advancement. And what that means is the etheric is the first level of the body's energy field. So when we're healthy and strong and full of vitality, the etheric level is tinged blue. When we're depleted and tired, that etheric level goes a bit grey looking. We don't have the energy flowing through our physical bodies that we really need for health and vitality. So first of all, this first set of transmissions prepares the etheric, this first level of the body's energy field, to be like a reservoir. So it gets pumped up and filled up with more energy, more divine light, more vitality. And then the second recording is called Endocrine Gland Advancement, because the endocrine glands, there's 7 major endocrine glands of the body, from the pineal at the top in the brain, pituitary, all the way down to the adrenals, which are associated with the base chakra. All of these endocrine glands are connected intimately with the chakras and the way the chakras function. So as we go through the ascension changes and we're really buffeted around by the light streaming into our energy circuits, because we are conduits, energy conduits, as between above and below, it's going to really affect, and often not for the better, our endocrine system. And of course, the endocrine glands their function is to put out hormones, to flood the body with different hormones. And the hormones help with the body's metabolism. So if the endocrine glands are not functioning properly, we can have many hormonal glitches and issues going on, which happens to a lot of people anyway, because of for example, I'll give you an example. Say in a past life you had an issue with your throat chakra where you'd been betrayed, you weren't able to speak your truth. When this light, which is the ascension energy, which is getting stronger and stronger, hits you, you may well start to develop thyroid issues, because the thyroid gland is directly associated with the functioning of the chakra, of the throat chakra, you see. So because the thyroid gland is getting affected in its function, it may not put out or manufacture enough thyroid hormones for the body. And so then we've got physical issues going on. And what happens with one endocrine gland usually affects other endocrine glands, and that affects the metabolism and the functioning of the whole body. So it's like a cascading effect of physical challenges that quite a number of people are experiencing. And many people have issues with the throat chakra because it is the chakra that opens the gateway really to the higher energy centers, the more spiritual energy centers of our body. And the throat chakra is all about our connection to divine will. So as we go through this process of ascension change, from letting go of our ego personal will and being more guided by the overarching guidance of our soul, our I am presence, we automatically go through a change between lower will and spiritual will, and it's going to affect the throat, divine will. So it's like a process of change. So that's number 2. Number 3 on the list is um, the blood, river of new life, because in our old 3D bodies, the blood has been the conveyor of nutrients from the food we eat, but also in the hemoglobin molecule in the red blood cells,
Mhm.
the conveyor of oxygen to all the cells and tissues of the body. But in our 5D bodies, the blood has an added function. It becomes the river of new life because there's also a light transmission
Mhm.
part of blood flow in the circulatory system. And the blood then becomes a river of new light, like new life for the body, bringing in energies, bringing in uh, light, transporting light to the cells. And this is why I talk about it's really important to bring more green foods, green plant-based foods into the diet, because the green pigment in chlorophyll, which is very similar actually to the hemoglobin pigment in blood, picks up that light and transports it to the cells. You could say that we're almost becoming more plant-like, going
Mhm.
through like a human process of photosynthesis, picking up light. The blood's carrying that light in the cells of the body, along with the nutrients and the oxygen, in this river of new life. And so, what I'm doing in these first 3 episodes of Light-Life DNA Recoding is creating almost like a pyramidal effect of advancement for the first level of the body's energy field, upgrading the endocrine system so that we don't suffer hormonal glitches, and then getting the river of life recreated to become a river of new life so it brings light to the cells.
Mhm.
The 4th episode, which is like the air principle, it's like water, fire, earth, and air. The 4th episode is about etheric transposition. It's a little bit complicated, but it's all written there on the page, and I'm just trying to explain it in simple terms. But etheric transposition takes the energy that has already been built up over time in the first level of the body's energy field, that reservoir of energy that I spoke about at the beginning, and it's pushing or bringing that energy from the first level of the field, which is just around our physical body, through the skin, uh, through the skin, and then bringing it into the blood, the capillaries and the blood circulatory system.
Mhm.
You'll feel it. When you listen to these recordings, you'll feel that the skin is actually breathing in the energy. It's quite interesting. There's a strange feeling of the energy coming through the skin, going into the capillaries in the blood stream. Then, as the blood is circulating around the body, the lungs absorb. The blood is sent by the pulmonary system through
Mhm.
the lungs, and the lungs take out the carbon dioxide and waste material from the blood, and then it picks up new oxygen on the next trip around the circulation. So the lungs absorb uh, new life energies. And then after that, all the systems of the body, which includes the endocrine gland, the circulatory system, all the systems of the body and the organs, all amp up as one. So they all amp up as one collective. So this 4-part process is profoundly revitalizing. It will really make people feel better, younger, fitter, more vital, not so tired.
Mhm.
Um, that's my experience anyway. And I've really noticed that for myself, and I'm, older. So I really noticed this. It's been really, really important for me to be able to keep going in my work, to use these recordings actually.
Mhm. Are there transmission in those recordings as well? By the way, the link for the special offer, we just kind of got into the link for the special offer is in the chat box, y'all. So click on that blue link. If you don't find it for whatever reason, just open up a new browser and type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Julie33, and it'll take you to the same page. Um, Judy, you mentioned on here that there's a couple of different options of how to listen to this.
Yes. So what I when I put this work out originally into my Ascension library, I only offered one episode per month. So you can listen to what the first episode, like etheric advancement, for like 7 days to 3 weeks before you go on to the next episode. Because what that's doing is it's building that up, building that up, building that up. Or you can start right off the bat and listen to one recording, say on a Monday, the next one on a Tuesday, the next one on a Wednesday, the next one on a Thursday, and give yourself 3 days to recalibrate. Because it's very powerful energy. You know, although I've explained what I'm doing really thoroughly in, you know, in pseudo-scientific terms, I guess you could say, it's pretty well explained in terms of physiology and anatomy, because my background was as a physiotherapist, so I totally understand that. So it's explained in a way which is not necessarily metaphysical, but physiological. But it's got energy. It's really about the energy that's being transmitted as part of these recordings. It's the energy that's doing the work, and it's doing it in a sequential way. So this is why it's not just one of these episodes that you listen to all four. But
Mm.
whether you choose to listen to all four right off the bat, right at the start, or not, is entirely over to you. The most important thing I would say is that be like the hare, you know, in the story, the hare and the tortoise. You
Mm.
stop still. Be like the hare. I mean, not like the hare. Be like the tortoise. Like
Yes.
go like steady and slowly, because this is energy imprinting onto the body. Every time it's imprinted, which is every time you listen, this imprint is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And it builds exponentially, like the Fibonacci sequence builds, like a fern frond grows. It starts slowly, like a little trickle, and then it gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So over the weeks and months, if you just keep doing this every week and be consistent and persistent about it, you will see incredible changes. If you feel that you are really, you know, you really want to do this a bit faster and you don't feel well and you say, okay, let's get on with it, you can listen to all four recordings in one day, and the next day listen to all four recordings for a week or so and see how you feel. But be warned, be aware that this is
Mm.
powerful energy, and if you don't feel well, you just have to throttle back a bit, just pull back a bit. There's no harm that can come to you, anybody, by listening. It's just that it might be a bit fast, so you have to go at your own pace and be guided by the changes that you experience and what your responses are. And everybody's different and unique. But if you are physically unwell, and you want to try this, maybe start with one recording per day for 4 days. Drink lots of water with liquid chlorophyll in the water, because that will help transmit the light. If you have, if say the next day you wake up and you feel really tired, which is a symptom that you've probably overdone it, then just give yourself a couple of days break,
Mm.
detox your body a little bit. You know, barley grass is also really good as a detox, or nettle tea, that sort of thing. Just be guided by what your physical body can handle, because the energy is powerful energy. It is creating significant change at a physical body level, and it's preparing us to recalibrate sufficiently to be able to receive the very powerful energy that I believe is coming in at the beginning of 2025. It's building now, and this is why many people are feeling so tired, because you know, our soul, our higher self knows what's going on, and our spiritual guides know what's going on, and they are preparing us, you see. So we on a human level think, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm really over this, I'm this is just too hard. But hold on for the ride and just relax, because it will get better. You know,
Mm.
it's not easy to go through these physical changes in a human body while we're living our physical lives. We're not, although we're going through a metamorphic change, like the caterpillar goes through when it becomes a butterfly. This is alchemical change, complete alchemical change that we're going through over, I'd say, the next 7 years.
Mm.
A 7 year process of change. We're now in 2024, so 7 years takes us to 2031, this ascension cycle, powerful ascension wave transformation cycle, which is really about the evolutionary upgrade of who we are as human beings and an evolutionary upgrade energetically for the planet on which we live. This is what it's all about. It is getting stronger for us, harder at times for us. And the more we can prepare our bodies to handle the energy that's coming, ready or not, it's coming, the easier it is for us physically. It's certainly a process of incredible change. And, sometimes if we bemoan how bad we might feel at times, um, I think we have to sort of remember that we're actually really fortunate to be in human bodies at this time, and we chose it. I think, I think to remember that we chose it. We
Well, and
chose
we're evolving into something beyond what we've experienced before as
it.
well. And in that choice, there was an excitement of not only experiencing that evolution, but also being a catalyst for us as well, really pioneering the new.
Yes, we are really pioneering the new because we look around at 99% of people out there in the world, and they don't seem to be going through the fatigue or discomfort that we might be going through. They may have other issues and other challenges, but this is because we are the pioneers. All of us who are listening today, we are the pioneers, really. We're pointing the way. It may take hundreds of years before everybody on this planet to catch up, but every every time there's an evolutionary process on the planet, and evolution is continual, it doesn't ever stop. This is just a big upgrade cycle that we're going through, 2020 to 2033. It will continue onwards, um, maybe not at the same rate. But this big jump, this big evolutionary leap that we're going through now is probably the biggest evolutionary leap that mankind has ever gone through. And we're very fortunate to be part of this evolutionary leap. And all we really have to do is be kind to ourselves, be kind to others, and um, don't be too upset about the ride we're on, really. It will get better.
It will get better. I have a question for you in reference to the endocrine system, uh,
Yes.
because I want to make it relatable to everybody. Because my blood tests haven't shown it,
Mhm.
uh, but I've wanted to go through Western medicine to gauge different places where I am, and I'm a little borderline in my adrenals, thyroid's okay, and all that. But I can feel the effects of the off and the on of my endocrine system in different places. And I, how can people, anybody that's listening who's experiencing perhaps again some of the tiredness, the lows, the low function because of the endocrine system, um, obviously participating in your special offer and this transmission is going to help to support. But what are some telltale signs perhaps that people can listen to that says, hey, something is off here in this particular place. I don't know why I'm anxious. I don't know why I'm feeling depressed. I don't know why I'm feeling so introverted. But instead of looking at the world outside of us, thinking, oh, it's because we don't want to be in the world and we're so empathic, how can we really tune into the chemistry that's shifting within us and really empower ourselves to focus in such a way that really supports us rather than drains us because we feel like we have to cocoon and then we just miss what's really going on entirely.
Mm, I agree. I talk about my own personal situation. So in 2020, prior to COVID, I was feeling really well. From 2020 until this year, I wasn't feeling really well. I was feeling really tired. I had my adrenals tested, they were low. I've been working with a product which I could share if that's appropriate, or you could share it later.
Absolutely.
I've been working with Dr. Wilson's adrenal support regime. These 4 products that I've been taking and building my adrenals because it's not just the energy that's coming in. The energy that's coming in, bringing up so much karmic trauma from past life. The adrenals, you see, are associated with the base chakra, and the base chakra is associated with survival issue fears, and the kidneys, and the little adrenals are two little glands that sit over the top of the kidneys. So when we are triggered on very deep levels, at a deep cellular level, with anxiety, trauma issues, whether they're real or not, they could just be the release of past life trauma, not really applicable in our own current life today. We can go, I believe that we can get triggered into some degree of adrenal fatigue just by the release of the karma. I have found a great deal of benefit from listening to adrenals from endocrine support in this program. And so I've been working with acupuncture. I've been working with Dr. Wilson's products. I'm way better than I used to be, but some of the symptoms that I used to experience were dizziness, like feeling really irritable quickly, like low stress tolerance. One of his products helps with low stress tolerance. You know, it floods the body with nice calming herbs, which is always good. Other things are like real fatigue, particularly in the mornings. I think people should investigate that if they're feeling some of those symptoms of feeling just exhausted, unable to think clearly. That's a big one to do with adrenal fatigue as well.
Right.
But there are certain questionnaires that you can fill out for yourself to see whether you might fall in that category. And there are medical tests. I actually had a medical test to see whether I was low adrenal. Not done with the doctor, but done with a naturopath, because sometimes medical testing doesn't show it up. So, but certainly adrenals, because they're associated with the base chakra, and we're all being asked to step out and step up and go through changes and move into spaces that we don't really understand or know, and it's scary. It's bringing up the release of past life anxiety on all those fronts. So it's not surprising that we're also being affected by other energies streaming in, which through the central vertical power current. And because the Shushumna channel, the central vertical power current, where the main energy feeder line of our body is coming in to our physical system, our energy anatomy, and it's, the energy is running through all the chakras. So the chakras they're like an aspect of our psychological functioning. Every time there's a big solar flare and we're bringing energy through, all this energy is blasting through our body, it's going to maybe put the chakra spin out of balance. And as the chakra spin goes out of balance, what happens is that particular chakra, which relates to how we think or feel and respond to the world, we think differently. Temporarily we might get really irritated, we might, for instance, if it's heart chakra, we might feel that people are against us. If it's a throat chakra, we might suddenly feel really antisocial, not want to speak out, not want to be with people. There's so many influences that are affecting us more and more today, and that's why Spirit had me make Light-Life DNA Recoding. This is not the end of it. These first 4 episodes are the first 4 parts of it. I've other parts of it. There's probably at least 4 more parts, and maybe 4 more after that. I think it's a series of 12 that I need to bring out to help people upgrade. But this is the first 4 episodes, which are all about bringing more light energy into the cells and helping us feel better with more vitality.
Well, and immersing ourselves in those environments are really important right now. It's brand new. The old tests aren't going to measure it in the same way. They're not timed differently. We're running our chemistry in different ways, and then also following up on protocols that are complete are really important. So I know some people out there take an adrenal support medication and it's high quality and all that, but unless you really stack it with the proper nutrients and understand how to properly compound it, you'll get slight benefits, if not none. So again, following a protocol like you mentioned, I think
Well,
is tremendously important.
that's why, I was sort of self-medicating a bit for about 2 years
Hmm.
and just taking things like ashwagandha and, you know, things like that. But the protocol, which has 4 separate products, I found way more helpful
Yeah,
because I'm rebuilding the glands. I'm I'm rebuilding the glands. I'm giving the glands the nutrients that they need, and I'm helping the body stress less, if you like. Even though I'm not stressed in my head, my body is, you see?
right.
And the problem that many people are experiencing, because your body can feel like it's completely revved up, like you're completely in overdrive and you can't calm your mind down. Um,
Yeah.
it's easy, so
I've been experiencing that personally. That's why I'm shaking my head. It's like, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I have, and what I have, I'm sure many people listening today have on that same journey right now.
Mm.
I'm just getting to ask you if you would mind if I just did some energy transmissions now to calm everybody down and bring us into a state of peace, if that's all right.
You read my mind. I was feeling a transmission about 5 minutes ago. So I was hoping this was going to come up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm just going to do this here. Okay. Everybody, you put your hand on your heart chakra and just take a big deep breath. Mishti Kosia Lishlat Sabelokoya. And Melakoda Dishukada. I can make a look to Stadabelokoda Lakadalaki, a Stadabelokoda, Mistakia, Mistakia, the medical Lakadilaki, Mistakia, the medical Lakadi, the Medica Aka, Akadikadi, Akadikadi, Akalikati, Kushti, Adakodakalaki, Ishtadabelokoda Sakoda, Lakodalia, Atsakushtada Lakadi. Akadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadakadak
Sokoda. Akotokata Kushtadakada, Mlishtalakota Lakisa, Mishtadakodisi, Mistogalati Laka, Sokole Kishtadaka, Adakotokada Isa Kishti, the key, the Galabediko, Atakushtabedaki, Akasakastabedaka Esi, Akotokodakade, Akalakasi Kushtinabala, O Kasadakushtalakoya. See, these are the words from divine hierarchy, the divine hierarchy. O people of a light upon the earth, please know that all is well, and do not judge with your mental mind what you might feel in your body. Your body is not the truth of you. Your body is just a collection of organs, of energies, of cells that is being affected, that's the word, like to have light is affecting change within the cells and the organic structure of the body. And so your body is not you. Your body is not the totality of you. Your body is just an instrument. And your body is energy. It's like crystallized into form. And as the form of your body is changed by energy imprints of divine mind, the body, it's like the old ways of the body or the old aspects of the body and the way the body has functioned in 3D will fall away, and you will be reformed and refashioned in a body of greater light, which is resilient, resistant, easy to manage, easy to function. It's like a light-filled body which does not have the same inflammation going on, the same trauma energy affecting it, to be revitalized and reborn. And this is a process of change that you are now going through. This energy now is to help us all understand, because I feel that hopefully we might feel better physically after this transmission, that the changes that are going on are transient. You might feel good one day and not good the next day. This is partly due to the fact that is energy streaming to Earth is intermittent. It comes in flares, in big bursts, like solar flares. And but there's also energy coming up from within the Earth, from what we might call a menti, which is the Earth's heartbeat. And this is affecting the Schumann resonance. So as people, we're conduits between above and below. So it's not surprising that our physical systems are being really, really impacted by
energies coming in and energies coming up. It's not easy. And we're also being bombarded by energies which are creating exponential ascension change in physical form and also in consciousness, in the way that we think and feel. So we might feel like yo like that with our mind. One day really calm and peaceful and think, oh, thank goodness, I feel really good now. And the next day I feel irritable and grumpy, and it can throw our nervous system out. Like it's like nervous system overload, really. So I just want to stand up, if that's all right, because
Of course.
I want to do something else and it needs to be done.
Please, yes.
I'll just adjust. So I'm just going to, what I find really helpful myself every day is to open up the chakras. And these are the chakras from 12 above the head all the way down to the base chakra. When we open, align and activate the spin of the chakras from 12 to 1, we actually help to bring an energy from above, from multigalactic realities, from divine source, in through the body's energy systems. And because our chakras are harmonized and aligned on a daily basis, we're going to feel better for longer. And the buffeting around of the solar flares and the energy that's coming into the planet doesn't affect us the same. And this is a really easy thing to do, and we can all do it at home. So I'd just like to explain this. If you want to write down the simple words that you say, it is these words: with the power of God that I am, I open, align, and activate the spin of my whatever chakra it is. You could actually add the word, with the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my 12th chakra. And then we're going down to the base chakra. So I'll just quickly go through that, if that's all right. It will only take about 3 minutes.
Excellent.
Okay, so you just sit with your hands palm up. When you do this at home, you can stand up if you want. And you just put your hands like this. Maybe stand up if you're at home and you can listen and you can stand up, do it. And you say to yourself out loud to yourself, with the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my 12th chakra. This is about 3 feet out from the body above the head. And you just say that, with the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my 12th chakra. So I'm permanently setting the energy language so that when you say the English words, you'll permanently, it will reactivate what we're doing. So with this 11th chakra now, with the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my 11th chakra. And take a deep breath, and hopefully you'll be feeling a bit more energized, like energy rushing in. And now we're going to work with the 10th chakra, the Christ consciousness grids. With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my 10th chakra. Take a deep breath. And now the 9th chakra. With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my 9th chakra, about here. And now the 8th chakra, just above the head.
With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my 8th chakra. Mishta sokolakishta. Adabetakodakadabetakodalishtaka. Adakoselakujla. Akushta Nishtiaka. And now the crown chakra, just here, the 7th chakra. With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my crown chakra. And now the 3rd eye chakra, just between the eyebrows. With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my 3rd eye chakra. There's a little chakra here to do with faith. With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my faith chakra. I am faith, I have faith. Throat chakra. With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my throat chakra. Like I trust, I speak my truth. With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my heart chakra. And solar plexus. With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my solar plexus chakra. It's about I stand in my power. I stand in my power. I stand in my heart-centered power. With the power of God that I am, I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my sacral chakra. It's like I love myself. All is well. And then the base chakra, the power of God that I am. I fully open, align, and activate the spin of my base chakra. And now all we do is we connect down through the base chakra to the earth star beneath our feet. Like we're grounding ourselves now into the earth. This also helps us to adapt to the changing Schumann resonance more easily, particularly if we're doing this every day. And then we go beneath the Earth star, way down into Amenti, which is like the Earth's heartbeat. And we connect into Amenti now. And we bring the rejuvenating energies from Amenti up through our physical energy circuits, through our body, and up through our energy field. And that's it. And if
wow.
if we do that every day, when I do that every day, I feel amazing. And so really helps me to adapt to the changing energies and what I'm experiencing with my changing energies. And it's really, really, really helpful. And when we add into that, like lots of super greens to carry the light to the cells, barley grass, spirulina, blue spirulina, the reds, the purples, all those colors, but particularly green to take the light to the cells because of the chlorophyll molecule.
that's the most critical thing. Lots of water, and then be kind, really. Be kind to self.
Judy, I have a question for you regarding water. I find that different water sources, I it's like I don't get replenished. I don't hydrate. It's like the quality of the water isn't as alive as it used to be in different places of the world.
Yes. I also find that what we can do about this is I I have pretty good water here, and I just fill up a jug of that water. But what I also do, and Spirit have asked me to do, is bring my hand 3 times in a circle over the top of that jug. And the
Mm.
reason I put it into a large jug is once you do it, it's like lasting 24 hours, really. So I just say this: with the power of God that I am, I activate and regenerate and restructure every molecule of water in this jug with the
Mm.
power of divine love. And I just take my hand in 3 circles like that over the top of the jug. And that's it. And you feel the energy streaming out of your hand actually when you do it. Everybody can do this, not just me or you, it's everybody. We can do this. It's all about our intention. It's all about bringing our attention into our heart mind, connecting, saying deliberately, with the power of God that I am, I connect to my heart mind. I
Mm.
connect to the love that I am. When we're vibrating with that connection and not with the head out there, then we become the God beings that we're meant to be becoming, which is
Mm.
all of what ascension is all about. You see, it's not about feeling bad all the time. It's about the wonderful upgrades and the magical alchemical changes that human beings are experiencing, which are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. What we're going through, though, is just a little preparation glitch. It's a bit like birthing pains, really.
Right.
Anyone that's had a baby will know. It's like the baby's what we're waiting for. The baby is the ascension. We're just going through the changes that get us there. So 3 times with your hand to restructure the water. And I've
Mm.
tested water at quite a number of workshops and events before and after doing this, and with a pendulum. So if you can do it for yourself, just hold the pendulum over the water that hasn't been energized and you'll see that the spin is sort of like that. But when you hold it over the water that has been energized, the spin will go way out. And
Mhm.
the other thing that I've also found quite helpful is just maybe adding a little bit of apple juice to the water, because I'm told that
Ah,
hydrates the cells better. A bit
oh,
of
I love that.
in the water.
It's wonderful. Thank you for that. That's super helpful. Um,
Yeah.
One thing that I'm really appreciating you about right now, and I appreciate you all the time, but it's becoming so live for me because I'm involved in lots of conversations about revolving our ascension. Um, you talk about the ascension process, how we're being activated, the calibration that's taken place, the hope that is beyond hope. It's a knowing. Um, and you always keep that forward momentum going as far as the energies. I never hear you swinging back to the opposite end of the pendulum from that positivity.
No, I guess I don't, because I know that I personally came here for a reason, and this is the reason. And you know, I'm just to quickly share a story. This is going back to 1998. I apologize if some people have already heard it, but it was when I was first starting my healing journey, and I had been in marketing and public relations, and then suddenly I couldn't actually focus when I was at a computer. So that was the end of that, really. But at the same time,
Mm.
I I retrained in auric healing in the human energy field. So first and foremost, I'm an energy healer. The sound vibration with the light language happened 5 years later, but my real training was in physiotherapy and energy healing. And then this man came to one of my workshops one day, and that night he called me and he said, I have to come and see you. I've got waves of energy running through my body and I feel nauseous. And anyway, he lived quite close by. So he came around and I got him to lie on my massage table. I didn't really have a clue what was going on with him. But I hung my pendulum over his chakras to see what was happening and held on to his feet, and he was still had his eyes shut, moaning on the table and writhing away. And then suddenly some energy came out through his body, out through my hands and down through my body. It actually threw me back against the wall. It was so strong. And then I waited for him to sort of subside and say something. And for 2 minutes, he just lay on the table with his eyes shut. But then he started to speak, and he said, "I'm out in the universe. I'm looking out of a windows of a spaceship, and I'm looking back at the earth." And he said, "I can't open my eyes." And I was really excited. I wrote it all down. And for 2 hours, he spoke about what he could see on the spaceship. He said it was a Galactic Federation starship, and that he had been taken there because he was an inventor working with solar power. He'd been taken there for an energy, some sort of energy preparation that they were giving to him. And after a while, he described everything he could see about tall guys and little beings and small ones with round eyes, and which was interesting because when I did write Sunshine Before the Dawn, which I'm in the process of editing now, I'll talk about it at the end, I saw those beings in my inner sight myself, because I remembered when I wrote the book being a woman called Isayenia, who was Syrian around 200,000 years ago, and she was very much involved with the original creation of the human being, the genetic scientist type person, and the original creation, which is interesting to me because my work now is just that. And so what this man said to me in 1998, he said, "They say that you, Judy, have a certain role to play in this lifetime," which I didn't know about. They said, he said, "Your role is to recode the DNA, to speak the energy words, to recode the DNA." Now, in 1998, I had no clue what that meant, but subsequently, that's exactly what's happened. And I feel that when I go to Omega at the end of August, that work will actually begin. And the reason, as I said, I feel this is because the language is changing. Because I'm a channel. I'm an energy conduit for spirit. You know, they work through me. It's not pre-orchestrated in my mind what I do. And sometimes I don't even know what I do until I open my mouth. So whatever I'm expected to do, it's something to do with activating previously dormant DNA potential within the chromosomes of our genetic code to, I think, what scientists call junk DNA, to switch on and begin to express, which will take us on a journey that we don't yet know, because how can we possibly? Because we've never been able to utilize this aspect of our DNA code, maybe until now. And because I don't know what is ahead, nobody does really. We just have to trust and have faith that the divine do know. And when we get upset about what's going on in our human lives, to surrender just that little bit more and know that, and say to ourselves, I am here for a reason. In this season of my physical life, I'm here for a reason. I chose to be here, and I just have to wait and see what's happening. But you know, one of the things I know, that when I listen to the program that Spirit brought through called Light-Life DNA, I feel the energy changes going on in my body, and my body changes as a result. So I trust, you see. And partly I trust because of my long period of time of working with Spirit and the changes that I've seen happen, and the fact that I actually can see this happening for me. That's the only reason I continue to talk about it, because I don't know what's coming. I can only say in the moment, like we only get the piece of the jigsaw puzzle when it's the time to be presented to us, sometimes, fortunately, but sometimes that's a good thing, because I think if we knew what might be happening on our planet in the next 10 years, we might go into stress, and there's no point in that. We just have to live in the now moment of every day, really. And
Yeah,
you know,
It's so beautiful, Judy, again, what you're offering. And again, I want to direct everybody to the special offer again. Y'all, I didn't discuss the pricing. It's $147. There's a two payment option on it. And again, it's Light-Life DNA Recoding, new vitality for the body. It resonates for me so loudly, Judy. And again, bringing in, and I really again appreciate you're saying that if we knew where it was all going, it could, I'll call it, create chaos. And at the same time, we may want to try to alter it to improve something that's already in its own perfection, as
Mm.
our mind gets in the way as well. And there's just this aspect of being and receiving and the fullness of the present moment, rather than trying to jump and articulate so far ahead that we miss what's here for us.
Yes, we do. We have to live each day of our lives, not always think about what I'm going to be doing next week, next month, next
Mhm.
year. It's really important to be in the moment. And I don't know what you're experiencing, but what I notice is that I can't remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, is I cannot remember what I did last Friday. I cannot really figure out what I'm going to be doing next Friday. It's my mind doesn't operate,
Yeah.
get used to anymore. I'm really, and probably all of us, we're really being asked to just be as lovingly, as graciously, as beautifully as we can possibly be in the now moment, and not worry about what's happened in the past and not get hung up about what's happening in the future. Just do the best that we can in each moment of time, really, because time is definitely changing. We all know that. And like, we need go absolutely next to nothing done in a day. But this is like this compaction is taking us through a 0 point of change, which is pretty exciting, really.
And and I think it's really important also that we honor just what's coming up through us, not that we're going to be using the waves of different emotions to do harm into another, but to really to allow the expression to be real rather than try to inhibit it, rather than shutting down our chakra system, our throat or our sacral, or because of whatever judgment that we might have about how it may be received or how we're perceived.
Yes, I it was that changes in the moment. You see, I because energy, emotion is really, as we all know, is just energy in motion. So particularly as we go through the rapid changes that we're going through, and every time a big wave of energy hits our energy systems, we're going to respond in all sorts of ways. Our nervous system is going to be a bit whacked in
Yeah.
many cases, and this is going to make us think and feel in ever-changing ways. Yeah, we can feel one set of feelings and think one set of thoughts at 10 o'clock, and at midday it's completely different. It's like changing. So we should never attach to how we feel emotionally or what we might think in any given moment, particularly about ourselves or another person, because this is just mental overload going on in the consciousness, and
Mhm.
it's not really important, not really valid. What someone thinks about us or what we think about others is just window dressing, really.
Right.
Important.
Hmm. Yeah, this is so beautiful. The transmissions today have been amazing. I want to hear more about what's coming through.
Mm.
Uh, these transmissions that you're offering. It's for anybody who's got to go to New York. We're going to get into that in a second. But again, y'all, the special offer for today, the link for that is in the chat box. I so highly recommend it because I know how much I'm going to benefit from this, especially the endocrine body upgrade. At least that's what's calling me so strongly right now.
Yes.
But to also go through the rest of these activations and to be in this energy, it's uh, I just know that this is just what the etheric doctors ordered for me. So this is the timing is absolutely perfect. Y'all, the link for that's in the chat box. It's $147 for the special offer. There's a two payment option, and you can read the testimonials from the people who were typing into the chat about how amazing, how greatly they've benefited from Judy's transmission. So that's one. Y'all, on the replay will be up in a couple of hours. Come back and attune to that chakra transmission 12 to 1 12 to 1, and it'll be played on the replay, and incorporate that into a daily practice. And you can get that and so much more in any of Judy's programs, but it's I cannot recommend that enough. That was so beautiful. And of course the meditation, the 11 minutes or 12 minutes that come in and the centering. And again, I just want to give a recap for what's been coming through, because there's so much golden wisdom and frequency that we're receiving in this gathering here together. So I appreciate all of y'all for holding the space, that inspiring what's coming alive in this exchange that we're having together. And Judy, with that, I'd love for you to share more about what's coming up. Again, I know you've got the thing at Omega, and please share about that for anybody who may be guided to go. But you mentioned some things that are also evolving that you're stepping into.
Yes, I'll talk about the Omega Institute event, which is the 23rd to the 25th of August this month. It's called Activating Human DNA Potential. It starts Friday night, the 23rd, from 8 till 10, and it finishes around 1 o'clock on the Sunday, the 25th. The bookings, if you're interested in finding out more or you wish to register, you just go to the Omega Institute, which is, you'll find it if you just Google the Omega Institute. And if you go to workshops, and if you scroll right down, because there's a lot of workshops in August, you'll find my face and Judy Satori and the title. Just click on that, and then you go to the page where you can read up all about it and register. There is some limited accommodation on site that you can stay at. There's also heaps of accommodation in the surrounding area, because Rhinebeck is quite close to a railway station at Rhinecliff, and that is about an hour and a half, 2 hours on the Amtrak train from Penn Station in Manhattan, or JFK Airport. It's a little bit quicker. So you can stay at any of those places and just pick up a rental car or get an Uber, or put a group together and rent an Airbnb. I'm really excited, and I would love to meet as many of you as possible. The book that I spoke about, Sunshine Before the Dawn, I just want to make I'm making some little editing tweaks to that book, because since I wrote it in 2011, there's been changes that I want to add to the book. And it will be available for purchase at the Omega bookstore, and then shortly after that, you'll be able to repurchase it from my own website, which is judysatori.com or ascensionlibrary.org. For my own personal changes, I feel really excited because I'm in my 70s, but I feel so much better physically than I ever have before, and I have so much more vitality and energy. And I really put it down to the fact that of the amount of green energy that I'm bringing into my body, but also my daily practices and the energy work that I'm consistently do, which is the Light-Life DNA Recoding and other energy work that I do with spirit. And I'm particularly excited because I feel that this energy that I'm going to be bringing through at Omega is going to be beyond what I've ever done before. And
it's amazing, Judy. It's amazing. I have to interrupt, because when I saw you were going to be at Omega, I felt not only so grateful that you're presenting there, but I actually felt the shift that you're bringing to that institution in a new direction. And I'm just calling it because I felt it so strongly.
I feel that too. And I actually spoke to Carol from Omega and some of her colleagues about this when I was actually at Omega. I actually did a presentation for them about what I feel is coming for the Omega Institute, because Omega is the Greek letter, the last letter of the Greek alphabet that I said before. It means the end. But what is happening for the Omega Institute, I feel, is a whole new beginning, like a whole new ripple wave of energy going in. And that's what I'm particularly excited about, because when the Omega Institute was set up, it was set up back in the 80s, I believe. What we needed to learn as people at that time was, the basics, the spiritual basics, and that has been taught at Omega, which is like the Omega Institute for Holistic Studies for a long time. But now there's a whole new wave of teachers, I feel, that are going to be coming through for the next level of teaching, which is about the galaxy. It's about the stars. It's about the star beings. It's about, I speak about beyond the beyond the beyond, because this energy that I'm bringing through at Omega is from beyond the beyond the beyond. It's not from Earth. It's not from the Milky Way. It's not even from the 22 galaxies of the diamond. It's beyond. It's from God mind at the heart of all, the heart of the universe, really. And so we all needing to understand that who we are as people, we're part of that divine energy. We were divinely created as an aspect of God, and now we're being asked to remember first who we are, not from an ego point of view, but from a desire to be of service, heart-centered point of view, and step up to become everything that we have the potential to be. So I guess you could say that what I'm wishing to present as Omega is the next step up for people, the next big piece of activating people's human potential in a very powerful way, so that we can all expand into doing what our soul has come to do. It's all about being who we're meant to be, and having the strength and the power and the ability to bring it forward. At Omega, I'm also going to be working with activating soul potential within our DNA, because we have aspects, the two aspects of our DNA, one from our mother and one from our father. One copy of our DNA from our mother, one copy of our DNA from our father. But what a lot of people may not realize, because it's not really scientifically proven, is that we have an overlay of soul DNA, which is coming from the soul. And up until now, we've been affected by the trauma aspects of the soul a lot, imprinting into the body and the karmic clearing that so many of us have experienced. But now we're becoming able to really expand into the positive aspects of our soul. This is the capacity to maybe speak these languages that I speak, which I have never been taught. See, we've all got capacities and wisdom that we've had in previous lifetimes that we may not be able to access yet, but it's coming. If you take the metaphor of, we've been like horses that have been blinkered, and the blinkers are being taken off, and now we can see much more widely who we really are and what we can really do. So we're being asked to have one foot in human camp, doing what we're here to do in these bodies, because the bodies are very important housing of the soul. If we didn't have the body, we wouldn't be able to do anything, actually, would we? So this is why the Light-Life DNA Recoding is really critical first step, because if our bodies can't hold the energy, the soul's memories, the soul's positive attributes and capabilities can't be activated to come forth either, you see. It all starts with our body's ability as energy beings, as energy conduits. The energy anatomy of our body has to be prepared to be able to receive this more powerful energy. Otherwise, we can't fully access it, you see. So it's both about being vital and strong as human people, but it's also about expanding the energy circuitry and the capacity of the energy anatomy within our flesh and blood human body to receive imprints of divine mind from a more expanded place, a more expanded reality. And as that happens, this energy, it's a bit like instead of having 91 grade petrol or gas going into 98. You see, it's that shift. We have to be able to receive our car, which is our Ka in Egyptian terms. Our car has to be upgraded to be able to have oil or petrol from a more expanded pump.
Right.
The petrol station. The petrol station really that we're engaging with is God mind. It's the energy that we're needing to get into our physical energy systems. And this has to come, that is coming, but it's going to come a lot more easily if our energy circuits can be adapted to hold it.
Right. And those that are here and those that are aware of it, we're holding pillars of light for that and the embodiment of that. Again, we talked about earlier, it's the pioneering that
Yes.
makes those new frontiers available for a massive collective. And if you're on these type of calls, if you follow Judy, if you've been listening to BTO, then you're an aspect, a vital aspect, and a beautiful aspect of that potentiality becoming an actuality. And that's what's happening. And we're being quickened. And the
We're,
time, I keep hearing it's the time is now. The
yeah,
time is now.
we're definitely being quickened, and we all have an important part to play, even if we don't think we do, because just the very fact that our vibratory frequency is expanding and increasing means that we are putting that frequency out into the planet, into our communities, and with the people around the people that we live. And it's like the 100 monkey principle. There's no separation, and so we are all intimately connected with one another and with source, divine source from which we come. And it's, as you said, John, it's so very important that as we go through this quickening process, we understand the process. We understand that whatever we're experiencing on any given day, on a Wednesday, will be maybe totally different on a Thursday, and that it is a process. It is a process of change, which is increasingly accelerating, increasingly expanding, and is rather unpredictable. But we know that we're going on this massive journey, and it's to a good place.
Mm, it's
So,
a great place. Oh my God, Judy. It's always so amazing to share space with you and to receive your transmissions and just the frequency that you hum. I'll call it that. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for the facilitation, for the codes today, for everything that you bring, for the reminder and acknowledgments of who we are, who we're remembering that we are, and for helping to facilitate the quickening within ourselves and to support our bodies, mind, and hearts in the way that you do. Um, it's y'all, the special offer. April put the link in the chat box again. Go deeper with Judy. We'll run the replay a little bit later. Come back and listen to the transmissions and to the energy today. Um, and with that, Judy, thank you so much.
thank you so much for having me on the call, John, and thank you everybody for staying on for such a long period of time and listening, and thank you so much for inviting me. I look forward to coming back and talking about Egypt,
Oh my
maybe
goodness, yes.
early next year.
There'll be a lot to share, and you'll have to join us on one of the other journeys as well. So it's going to be amazing. So
Yeah.
much, y'all, so much to be excited about, and the present moment is so beautiful and so exciting at this time as well. So thank you all. Thank you, Judy. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next call. And I'll see you soon, Judy.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye
Thank you.
bye, everybody.
Bye.